Area Chamber of Commerce and the Argus Observer. I am so excited to see so many people in the audience, and I'm thrilled that we have so many people running for positions in our community. It's great to see a year when we have so much community involvement. This is wonderful. So tonight's format, we're going to start with the candidates running for 8C School District. So 8C School District, there's 3 positions that are open. Incumbent Matt Stringer is running against Lisa Reeser and Lindsey Nieskens. Currently, and then position 2, currently held by Blanca, and thank you for her years of service, is Tomas Elizondo and Jenna Mejia are running for that position. And then position 4, which was left open, is Apodaca, Clay Hooker, and Andrea Recla are running for that position. So candidates, some of you have been here before and done this, some of you haven't. So the Argus Observer has furnished me 4 questions for you. College only gets 3. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to do an opening statement. And then each candidate will be asked the same question, and you'll each have 2 minutes to answer that question. And then you will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. And again, I, the Chamber of Commerce, and our community want to make this easy for you, and we want to thank you for taking your time to be here tonight, and thank you for taking your time to serve our community. So our first candidate, as we put them in alphabetical order, for 8C School District, running for position 4 is Apodaca. This gentleman out here, who is my board man, is going to tell you he's got a 1-minute card, not just you, everybody, it looks like I'm picking on Abby, a 30-second card, and then time's up. And I'm going to take the mic.
Is it 2-minute introduction?
2-minute introduction.
Then the questions.
No, 2 minutes introduction for you.
Yep.
2-minute introduction for her.
Okay.
2 minutes for Lindsey. 2 minutes for Lisa. 2 minutes for Matt.
Okay.
Then it comes back to the next question. You're going to use a hot mic. I'm going to turn it on right now. All right. So Abby, please give us your opening statement.
Hello, my name is Abby Apodaca. I work for Road Credit Union in Ontario. I worked for them through the Mejia merger, so I am very comfortable with change and handling that. I have lived in Ontario since I was 9 years old, was a graduate of Ontario High School, go Tigers, and still have all 3 kids in the Ontario School District. I have a 6th grader, a 4th grader, and a 3rd grader. So I'm at 3 different schools this year with the change to the schools, and that has actually been better than I expected. So I'm thankful for that. Especially knowing that I was going to juggle 3 kids, right? I have my associates from TVCC. I have my bachelor's from Eastern Oregon in business management, and then I'm currently working on my master's in instructional design and learning technologies. Like I said before, I work for Road Credit Union, and I am in the learning and development department. My heart was wanting to be a teacher for many, many years, and ultimately ended up at the credit union and stuck there for a long, long time. I've been there 17 years, and I'm only 38, so I started very, very young. But I love what I'm doing. Teaching was always something that I wanted to be involved in, education. My mom is an educator, and so that has always been a passion. So much of my time has been spent in schools. I know many of you have seen me around. I spend lots of hours volunteering in the schools, volunteering for the rec department, and so the community is very important to me. One thing that I've really noticed lately in our communities is sometimes the people who have a passion for community or have that feeling leave the area, right? Because there's better opportunities elsewhere, right? For education, jobs, whatever that may be. I also had the opportunity to move to Medford with the Road merger and ended up staying here. So my passion is to be here, graduate my kids from Ontario High School, and have it be the best that it can absolutely be.
Great job, great job.
I knew I was watching.
Jenna, would you please give us your opening statement?
Will. So my name is Jenna Mejia, and I was born and raised in Ontario. I went to Ontario schools, K-12, the original Aiken Alligator here. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that Ontario High School has to offer. And so I graduated from high school May 2005, and in June I walked across the stage at TVCC with my associate's degree. So an incredible opportunity that saved me a lot of money when I got my bachelor's degree, so I'm very thankful for that. I then went on to the College of Idaho where I got my bachelor's degree and eventually got my master's degree in early childhood special education from Portland State University. I work for Mejia ESD. I was an inclusive preschool teacher, and now I'm in the role of preschool coach, so I get to go around to all the classrooms and just help teachers make their learning environment the best that it can be for the kids that they have in there at that time. My husband and I, we started dating in high school. We've now been married 15 years this year, and we have 3 kids who are in the Ontario schools, and we just love being involved. You know, we volunteer for everything, rec coaching, softball coaching. My husband coaches football for the high school, and we just feel very lucky to get to be a part of such an amazing district and amazing community. And so I would like to be on the school board so that can really just help bridge community and the school board, the district, because I think it's kind of become a scary thing, right, to be on a board, and I don't think that it needs to be. We can all work together and just do what is best for our community, because this community is very important to me. It's where I was raised, it's where I'm raising my children, where all of my nieces and nephews will go through the schools too, all the kids that have come through my preschools and that I coach in sports, and so I'm just really excited for this opportunity.
Thank you. Hold on, I gotta make sure my timekeeper's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Lindsey, would you please give us your opening statement?
Yes, my name is Lindsey Nieskens. Unlike these ladies, I did not have the opportunity to be born and raised and grown in such an amazing environment. However, this is where I found my home. Interacting with Ontario School District, it has been phenomenal. My job is a prevention specialist, so I spend a lot of time in a lot of different schools. There's 22 schools in Mejia County that my team currently covers, and we provide prevention services, mental health promotion, suicide prevention, drug and alcohol education. So being in all the different school environments and seeing all of those and finding a love and a certain soft spot for Ontario is really what drove me to put my name in the hat, so to say. I graduated from TVCC and spent my time at TVCC on the student government team, which was also awesome. So being able to be that involved on TVCC's campus was also very, very phenomenal. There is a Dr. Seuss quote from the Lorax. Says, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing will change. It's not. And that's what I choose to build my life around. The choices that I make, the interactions that I have, what I choose to do with my time. I want everything I'm doing to be able to better this community that's so openly welcomed me and made me part of its community. This is where my home is.
Lisa, will you please give us your opening statement?
Are we ready, Tim? We're good? All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lisa Reeser, and I'm running for position number 2 on the 8C school board. I am an Ontario, Oregon native, born and raised here. I was also an egg and alligator, went to Ontario Middle School, graduated from Ontario High School. I also did the dual credits in high school and was able to go into college at Oregon State University as a sophomore, so that was so helpful for me. After graduating and traveling around, my husband and I decided to come back to Ontario. That was about 10 years ago, and we have made this our home. I have 2 grade school boys. One is currently at Aiken and one is at Alameda. I'm running for 8C school board because I'm invested in the students within our community. My own kids, those little elementary kids, the middle school kids, the high school kids. I've had the opportunity to coach different sports and volunteer in the schools, which has been a really great experience for me. I'm an active citizen in this community. I'm currently on the Ontario K-5 PTO organization Friends of the Library Board, and also our small neighborhood HOA board. I am self-employed as an administrative consultant and enjoy working with small businesses around the area. Growing up here and attending school in Ontario and now raising my children here, we're deeply rooted in this community, and we want to see Ontario students succeed and the families in the community to be heard. So I'm eager to further my involvement by serving on the Ontario School Board. I have pride in this town and this district, what it is and what it could be. And I like to say I am a tiger raising tigers. So go Tigers!
You may need to scream at me if
I know how to get your attention, man. I got you.
I know you.
Matt, would you please, he was already holding up the sign. Matt, would you please give us your opening statement?
Yes. Hi, my name's Matthew Stringer. I grew up in Nieskens, Oregon a couple years ago, and I went to college at Amherst College in Massachusetts, and then graduated from University of Oregon with Kathy, and I moved to New York and lived there for 29 years, and then came back home, and very proud to be here. Most important is the quiet and the wide open space, because I wasn't used to that. So if I dive in, it's a pretty young crowd, but I think that it's a relatively small percentage of the population that engages with the schools. You have to have children, or you don't really participate. But it is such a different world than it was even 20 years ago. We do a trunk or treat at the parking lot of the high school. Jody Elizondo, when she was principal, did a survey of more than 1,000 parents, and they were asked which of these 4 issues are a priority for you. Safety, mental illness, academic preparedness, college. And more than 90% of them said safety and mental health. Well, 20 years ago, those topics wouldn't have even been in the realm of discussion for students. So, it's not about the teacher going home to the husband and saying, oh, look at what Johnny did today. It's about feeding, it's about clothing, it's about caring for the kids.
Stop. He's got the time up sign.
District's amazing at recognizing that.
Good job. Sorry. I need to throw something at me. Sorry.
You were looking over there, man. I'm going, hey, dude.
All right. So your first question, and some of you have already covered this, so you get to repeat yourself, which is awesome. So why are you running for the school board? 2 minutes.
I'm running for school board as I am an active participant in our community. I am regularly volunteering, like many of these individuals have said, through rec sports, through volunteering at the schools. In fact, a few of us were nominated for Volunteer of the Year, and I'm getting that for one of the schools as well with a group of other individuals. I am also serving on the Ontario K-5 PTO. I am the president of that, and so I'm very much involved in the schools as it is. I want to take that involvement and really change how I can do that. I bring, over my 17 years of credit union, is about 8 of that has been either in management, leadership, or training new managers and leaders. And so I really feel passionate about developing adults. I used to think that was I loved kids, and I still absolutely do, and I find that coaching rec sports and some of those things is really what's feeding that. But I really love growing adults and seeing what they can be. And so that's really where I want to take this, is really emphasizing and partnering with the parents and saying, how can we be partners? Not just partnering with your child, right? Because that is our greatest, that's my thing. They're my babies. I don't want to lose them, right? But I want to work with parents to say, how can you be more comfortable, right? How can we make sure that you feel like this is the best place for your student? Not just, hey, we're teachers, we're here, because there's lots of opportunities. And so really, I want to put in saying, how can we partner? How can we really bring us together instead of feeling like it's the community sometimes against the school, right? I'm out there on Facebook, I see those things. And so I really want to say, do we need to be more transparent? Do we need to find opportunities to have open houses? As a school board member, that would be my intention, is to have those conversations and really work towards just being as open and honest as we can be.
Thank you. Why are you running for 8C school board?
Well, as I touched on a little bit earlier, this community it's where my heart is. It's where all of the little people that I love are. But I also care so much about our community as a whole and about our families as a whole. And so I think bringing that perspective of schools don't just serve the kids, but how do we serve the families? How do we build up our community with initiatives like CTE, with the dual credit program, with all of the different things that we can do? How can we keep families in this area, our quality families who are involved and who are making a difference in the community, and also our families who don't feel as represented as others do, and just kind of connecting that bridge. Like I said, I don't think that being on the school board or talking to a school board member or talking to someone at the district office needs to be a scary thing, because we all want kids to be first, and so I just hope to bring that perspective to the board.
Thank you. Why are you running for 8C school board?
I'm running for school board position because, plain and simple, I care. I've seen a lot of different school districts. I've seen how different things are operating. I have a passion for our community, and I want to see that explored, right? I want to be able to be a voice for the people that oftentimes don't feel heard. I spend a lot of time in my personal work teaching educators mental health skills, teaching actual children coping skills. My background and the way that I educate others is so diverse. I feel like I would be able to bring a creative, innovative, caring voice to the table to be able to represent some of those families that typically don't have a voice anywhere else.
Thank you. Why are you running for 8C school board?
So I don't have a background in teaching or administration. I am a parent that has been involved in the schools for the last 6 years. Mostly at the elementary education level. I am really interested in the behind the scenes, the inner workings, volunteering in the classrooms, getting to know the teachers, the staff, the administrators of the schools has been really interesting, and I would like to dive deeper and kind of understand what goes on, the middle school, the high school, the district office, all those levels. I bring the perspective of a parent, a community member who thinks transparency is key. I think that that's the way to gain the trust of the community. There's kind of been a divide between the school district, even the city, the community members, and I think that transparency, communication, sorry, that's intimidating. 1 minute. Is the way to bring everybody together. Like I said, I'm from here. I am invested in this community. Students will be here for a long time, and so I'm hoping to serve my community by being on the school board.
Thank you.
So I came from the
Why are you running for 8C school board? I get a part in this meeting.
Oh, was that the question?
Yes. Why are you running for 8C school board?
Okay. I just really want to continue to do the good work that I feel that we've accomplished in the 4 years that I will have been on the board in May. First 6 months I was on the board, I thought I was worthless. I didn't know parliamentary procedure. I couldn't track what was executive session versus blah, blah, blah. But over time, I realized I had become a really vital member of the board. I make really sound decisions. I can be strident and I can be convincing. And I really dig in. I study, I prepare, and I came at the end of a very contentious and completely unproductive time at the school board where the president of the school board said to the newspaper, everything is so contentious, we can't make a single decision. And things were in disarray. I forced coming to consensus and working, even if it took us hours. If I gave him a 1 and you gave him a 3, we didn't just say it was a 2. We had to talk it through. We've got so many accomplishments. Nobody gives me enough time to talk. But, you know, everything from building new buildings to changing to grade-based schools, which is something that has already proven to be a really vital and smart thing to do. Oh, I still have
That's great. You're one person that cannot top me. Gotta love that.
Yeah, right.
I know it's close. So, as I mentioned in my opening, we are thrilled to have so many people that are running and getting involved in our community. And you'll be representing the community as this is a voted position by the community. So the next question is, what prior government experience do you have?
Great question.
Let's go.
I do not have any prior true government experience. I will attest to that. I served on the St. Peter board when my kids were at St. Peter's. So I helped with that piece for quite some time. I have been with I was with Mal here before we merged into Rogue, and I was regularly in conversations with our board of directors, and so understanding the value of that. I guess I am the leader of the Ontario K-5 PTO, so I'm the president of that, but nothing as formal as being voted into something. I feel like I've spent time really trying to understand the value behind this, understanding I'm in the right spot for the right time. I did put my hat in for the board when there was letters, and I did not get that position. But I look back at that and I was not in the right place. I have now started taking my master's, and so that will be done in June, just in time to jump into this, right? And so I made sure that this was gonna work for my family. We also run a small business, so I have to make sure that it's going well for my husband's small business, and so this just felt like it was the right timing, and I'm sure many of you know that, where it's just like, okay, it fits, it works. And so that's why I threw my hat in the ring for this time.
Thank you. Are you ready? What prior governmental experience do you have?
I am pretty sure if I looked at my college applications, I had a short stint on the youth advisory committee for city council, because that looked good on my college resume. That's all I have. It was a great year. So I don't have any formal governmental experience other than that. But similar to Abby, it's just something that, I wanted to do. My husband is on the rec board, and it's just something that we're passionate about, being involved in our community and being proactive in our community. And such is life, like, you have a baby, your job changes, you have another baby, your job changes again. And so now I feel like, I don't want to say we're settled because that would jinx it, but I feel like timing is good to be able to give a bigger commitment to something that I care so very much about.
Thank you. What is your prior governmental experience?
My prior governmental experience started at TVCC. I had a really great English teacher who told me you would be fantastic on their activities or government team, and I said, okay, I'll try. So I spent my first year at TVCC on the student government team and loved every minute of it. I was the young person who thought that TVCC was just, like, you would go to a big school. It's not as awesome as everybody makes it sound. It's wrong. It is that awesome. The teachers genuinely care. But being able to see the inner workings and have like my first foot in the door towards governmental experience in that TVCC environment where everything was, safe and monitored was super, super awesome. I'm now a member of the Mejia County Prevention Coalition. They do a lot of really, really awesome work. So being able to see kind of that election process has been super, super good for me as well. And I just feel like my prior experience may not be as in-depth as some others. However, I care, and that's really what all of it boils down into. I care about our families, I care about our students, I care about the well-being of our community.
Thank you. What is your prior governmental experience?
I guess the only board I've been officially elected to is our small HOA board in our subdivision. I've been president of that board for the last 5 years. I'm also the secretary for the Friends of the Library board. I am the secretary for the K-5 PTO, have for a couple of years now. I was also the board coordinator for the Eastern Oregon Border Board. It wasn't an elected position, but I did that for probably 3-ish years. And I also come from a long line of family members who have served on boards here in the town. And growing up, I've seen my family members serve on boards and spend a lot of their time doing that and giving back to the community. So,
Thank you.
That question again.
Yes, sir. What is your prior governmental experience?
Okay, first, can somebody explain to me what government is?
Truly, we're kind of looking for things you're voted on and boards you serve on.
I was just being silly. I was the president of the New York chapter of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, and just like the National Endowment of the Arts, that's a government entity. That would have been my first foray. I'm presently actually a government employee by being a governor-selected member of the Oregon Arts Commission. So being on the school board, I guess, is my third gig as a government employee.
That's it.
Well,
I've never seen you.
He'd like to carry his time over to another question. We have 3 minutes for the next one. Jim doesn't have a sign for that.
I don't have a sign for that, that's right, thank you.
Are you getting Sharpie?
No, Mr. Speaker, we're not yielding. Okay, so your final? That's it.
Final? This would be the third.
The first one was named.
oh,
Look at her. You did that there.
You're not letting us
Okay.
talk about.
So, your final question. What do you think the top issue is that Ontario School District faces?
The top issue. So I would say the top issue is really bringing the community together. I was part of the grade level school transition, right? I went to those meetings. I heard some of those community members. And so I think the school board is working really hard to do that. The communication has been phenomenal as we've gotten closer to the end of the year. They've really made some changes. At the this mark keeps going out.
Here, trade me. Give us
At the
2 more
beginning,
seconds.
at the beginning of the grade level schools, I know that it was hard, right? I mentioned I was part of the Mejia Road merger. I get that's people's money, and Nikki and the board got to deal with people's kids, right? Those are like the 2 most important things in people's households, and so yeah, I think that it's just bringing us together and bringing that Ontario Tiger family. We had an amazing opportunity. I was with some of these gals at Aiken School, and we had an amazing family at Aiken. And really my goal is to just say, how can we take our Aiken family that was so tight there and we were just so well-rounded to the whole school, to all the grade levels, right? Not just, oh, Aiken had this family feel, but the other school didn't. It's really saying, how can we take the whole 3rd grade class and make them feel together? In fact, I went on the 6th grade outdoor school trip with my 6th grader, and there was something so amazing about having that opportunity to be outside of the school walls and really feel that family. And that really, I left that, I'm getting chills right now, I left that realizing I get it. Like, it almost took to that moment of like, I get now why we want them all together. Because they are bonded, and I'm seeing these kids get along so much better than they ever have because of that outdoor school trip and riding the bus and spending that time together. So that's really what I think, it's just bringing that family feel all together again.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. What do you think is the top issue that Ontario School District faces?
Right now, I think it is just our ever-changing climate and everything is different right now, like Matt said, than it was 20 years ago, than it was when I was in high school, when Lisa was in high school, way back when Matt was in high school, right? A couple years ago. Our technology has changed. You know, kids expect things to be instant. You have to do a song and dance for them to get their attention. Our families look different. Gone are the days where we have a one-parent working household. We either have two parents working or some of our households just have one parent. And so how can we adapt what we're doing in the schools, in the community, as a board to what our families, our kids, our communities need now? Also, things are changing for our teachers. We are expecting a lot from them as far as adapting to all of these changes and needs, and they have a whole other set of stresses on top of that with their own kids, their own families, state testing, curriculum changes, and so I think that adapting and evolving our district to address what our community, our kids, our families need right now is the priority.
Thank you. What do you think is the top issue that Ontario School District faces?
I would say that the top issue that Ontario School District faces is community connection. I think just from my personal background as a certified prevention specialist, there's a saying, don't reinvent the wheel, and they preach it to you. Our community has a ton of resources. Literally, we have, when I teach to educators, we put together a community resource booklet, and it's 5 or 6 pages stapled together, just of local community resources. And I feel like those local community resources can play such a huge role in helping our families, helping the district serve those families in a way that encapsulates and educates the whole child and the whole family. So I feel that being able to bring those in, we've already seen Ontario School District has started bringing in lots of different outside entities to provide counseling and other services, and it is awesome to see those kids just blossom. For them to go home and say, Mom, Dad, look who I met today. This is what I learned today. And be able to take those skills that they're learning in school that have nothing to do with the typical education. It's their emotional well-being that we're now nurturing. And I think that more of that community connection would be phenomenal, and we would see great strides in our community.
Thank you. What do you think is the top issue that Ontario School District faces?
The one that I'm thinking of kind of has just popped up in my mind in the last couple weeks. We just had parent-teacher conferences with our children's teachers, and I heard a lot about attendance this year, attendance rates being down this year. And it's interesting to me to kind of dive deep and to see where that's coming from, if it's this transition to grade level schools, if it's resources at home, if it's lack of resources at home, if it's the parents and guardians, lack of involvement there. Attendance can heavily impact a student's whole career in school. Starting, kindergarten all the way up to graduating high school. Attendance is a huge, huge thing. And I've heard a lot of teachers and staff talking about that this year. So I think that is one of the biggest things facing Ontario School District right now.
Thank you.
Question.
What do you think is the top issue that Ontario School District faces?
I think we recognize a lot of top issues. One thing we're extremely focused on is testing, state testing scores. Our student growth is amazing. This is a very complicated school district. You have so much distress. We have homeless children, we have hungry children, we have children that are latchkey children whose parents might adore them, but work 12, 16 hours a day and don't have time to read to them I, like Lindsey, really try to focus on community engagement. You know, I want everybody that's over 55 and doesn't have children in the district to engage, to go to concerts, football games. Our choir and our band have expanded massively in the last 3 years, and really quality music performed. Sports teams, soccer team won state tournament last year. We had the #1 golfer in the state. There's a lot to be excited about, and we do spend so much time focusing on the downtrodden, the disenfranchised, the poverty in the community, and that is well placed. We need to do that. We're kind, we're Americans, we're Christians. We fight to help the downtrodden, but we also need to focus on these exemplary children who are amazing, remarkably successful and gifted kids who graduate from the high school and TVCC at the same time. And there are a lot of success stories. And I don't think that's something most community members really spend much time recognizing. And we can all attest to that. You see how well your children develop in school, right? And my dad.
Thank you. Well, thank you for answering our questions. Now, we would like to give each of you 2 minutes to
You
make,
should start at the back and work this way now.
take 3 minutes. I'd like to give each of you 2 minutes to do a closing statement, starting with Abby Apodaca.
I guess I should just say I'm used to first because my maiden name was also an A. So I was prepared for this. Again, you've heard a lot about community. I really just want to be part of something that's going to be great, right? I really, truly believe, and you've heard the local TVC, Eastern Oregon is local for a university, right? It's an Oregon one. I truly believe in that. I told my husband the other day, he was talking about, we should go to these amazing places. And I said, I want my kids to graduate from the same school district they started kindergarten in. I moved in 3rd grade. Although kids are very resilient, right? We say that a lot. It was hard. It was a challenge. There were times where I was like, man, if I would have just stayed in my hometown, I would have known. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and she said, I couldn't imagine still living in the hometown that I went to elementary school and graduated from because of all the stuff that happens, right? We all know all the things and the drama. And I said, you know what? I couldn't imagine being anywhere else because I can pick up the phone, and I went to school with Jenna, right? She was a grade below me. So I know these people, and I can be like, hey, I need some help. I need some resources, and they're there for me. So there's something to be said about just really knowing the people. And I would love for you guys, if you would ask kids or parents that have kids in the same grades as my kids, they would probably know who I am because I'm in there so much. I am giving hugs, high fives. I have kids at soccer games running up to me to say hello because I coached them 3 years ago, or I went on a field trip with them. And so, as much as I say I love raising up adults to be the most amazing self, I also love just feeding into those kids and being that one person that's there that says, I love you, no judgment, and I'm here to support you, so what do you need? And so that's really what it is. It's just trying to make this community the best absolute place that it can be for everyone in it.
Thank you. Jenna Mejia, you have 2 minutes for a closing comment.
I should stop listening to Abby and start thinking while I'm sitting here. I am just excited to have the opportunity to use my background, being from Ontario, living in Ontario, raising my kids in Ontario, and also my professional background as a special education teacher, working with families and partnering with them to make them be the strongest family unit that they can be, because that carries over into the classroom, and prioritizing social emotional development and making these children come out of the school system just like the best whole-rounded person that they can be. And I would look forward to working with district officials, working with the community, the teachers, and everyone on making our schools as strong as they can be. We have some really quality educators in Ontario, and so I would like look forward to making this somewhere where they want to stay, where they want to finish out their career, because they're also invested in our kids. Like Matt mentioned, you know, making it a community again, where you see everybody you know at the football game on Friday night. It's standing room only at the basketball games because everybody's excited to be there. My daughter's choir concert a month ago, it actually was standing room only, and that was just for middle school. It was incredible, and very excited for the opportunities that our students have here at Ontario School District to be involved in welding, in a nursing program, in an education program, and just making sure that all kids know that they're valued and they're wanted here, their families are valued and they're wanted in Ontario School District, and that we also care what they do when they go beyond.
Thank you. Lindsey Nieskens, 2-minute closing statement.
Yes. I believe that change begins with those who care. And I care deeply about the future of our children, about our community, about their families. I believe every student deserves more than just an education. They deserve a system that nurtures their growth and values their qualities, prepares them for their challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Because I think our society has spent so much time focusing on keeping those kids from falling in the stream, right? We need to keep them safe, we need to bubble wrap them, but what we really need to do is teach our kids how to swim. And I think that by working together, supporting our teachers, supporting our families, to create a really transparent and open, community-connected school district would be the absolute end goal, would make this already gem of a community that we have even shinier.
Thank you. Lisa Reeser, 2-minute closing statement.
Ontario School District has a lot of really positive aspects. There's a lot of really great teachers, great administrators, just great staff in general. There's a big range of activities that are offered. There's the Smile Club starting in elementary school. The outdoor school that Abby was talking about is amazing for 6th graders. High school, you get to all the clubs and sports, all the extracurricular activities, career and technical education opportunities. It's just so great that the high schoolers can explore things before they graduate and are out on their own and figuring out life. I loved my education here in Ontario, and I moved away for a while, and when I came back, it wasn't the same town, it wasn't the same school district that I left. And I had told my husband, it would be awesome to get it back to where it was when I was here. And I think it's headed that way. Like I said, it's a great school district. I like to think that I'm a good listener and a good communicator. I want families to feel involved and heard, and I think that's super important in bringing the whole community together. And I'm just here for the kids.
Thank you. Matthew Stringer, 2-minute closing statement.
Okay. I don't have children, but I raise my nephews, and I'm a 5-time godparent. But I love public school. It was a really positive refuge for me growing up. And I love the school environment. So I love being at the schools. Both all the principals and the superintendent can attest that I'm a bleeding heart. So they'll always bring me in to have some phenomenal experience with the child just to watch me bawl. But I'm desperate for the children, and I call in this context the kindergartner through a senior in high school, the child, to have a positive, enriching, and successful life. I watch these educators with their desperation to just really do for the children. It's a really positive experience for me. The school board's gone from something that I think, even though I wasn't directly involved, was basically dysfunctional to a happy, productive, kind, respectful environment. We get to do a ton of things. I always thought nonprofit is you just make sure you don't get sued, legal stuff, or you don't go broke, money stuff. But we get to be involved in curriculum, we get to engage with these kids, and if I'm on the playground, I'm never with the ones that are happy and laughing. I'm over with the kid, sitting by himself. It's just one of the most positive experiences, and it's so gratifying if you feel like you're even tipping the scale 1 second. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, candidates for school board. You all did a fantastic job. The one thing I can say is it's never always easy to speak in public, and you all nailed that. So you get to take on your prize of your fancy nameplate.
And Dana, shout out to TVCC, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Woo!
we're a whole bunch of chuckers up here. Let's point down.